Black History Month, born out of Negro History Week, pioneered by Carter G.Woodson. He was born to former slaves, and he lived a very accomplished life, and did it without the help of affirmative action.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
What does the NAACP, Black History Month, and the unions have in common? They were founded to be of great purposes in the face of injustices, but are now just unnecessary. Liberals and Afrocentrics will try to make the case that Abraham Lincoln didn't care about freeing the slaves and whatnot. Carter G.Woodson, the originator of what will become Black History Month, founded Negro History Week, which included Abraham Lincoln in its celebration. He knew more about Abraham Lincoln than you do. Not only was he a historian, his parents saw the end of slavery during Lincoln's day. I reckon Woodson views Lincoln, the abolitionist Republican, to be enough of a champion of civil rights to have won a Negro History Week coinciding with Abraham Lincoln's birthday. And he especially wanted Frederick Douglass to be recognized, who faced far greater adversity than later 20th century American blacks. But despite being a slave, he too became a very accomplished man without affirmative action. By the way, he was a Republican. Now, like I say, much of the black community will insist that we need affirmative action, but you will be hard-pressed to find American blacks admitting that they needed it themselves. Oh, I got my job because I'm talented. It's some other Negroes that needed it, not me. Woodson celebrated people who personified independence and self-reliance, like Marcus Garvey. Nowadays, government reliance is the lay of the land in too much of the black community. Too much of the black community is far away from the things Carter G. Woodson celebrated. And nowadays, if you're a far left, black liberation theology liberal Democrat like Barack Obama, you can be cursed by people like Cornel West if you don't forsake everybody else and make the black community the first priority. As Cornel West says, it's very sad. I mean, I'm glad there was not a right-wing takeover, but we end up with a Republican, a Rockefeller Republican in blackface with Barack Obama, so that our struggle with regard to poverty intensifies. And Afrocentrics accuse Republicans of being bigots and Republicans of color as being self-loathers? As long as American blacks keep buying into the victim mentality that people like Cornel West displays, they'll be shackled in brain chains until God knows when. To my black people, stop listening to rich people who stay rich by telling you that you're a victim. The people that Carter G. Woodson celebrated and set up Negro History Week to celebrate weren't victims. They were survivors. They rose out of adversity far greater than what we faced for the past few decades. If people like Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Carter G. Woodson can rise up out of the adversities they face, then the black community should be light years ahead now, because we don't face those adversities anymore. They're mental now. American blacks are stewing because they depended on a person they elected because he's black and expected him to change their lives. But the American blacks of the late 19th century and early 20th century took that inch of freedom that was opened up to them and ran miles with it. Now, with miles of freedom, the black community is only moving inches. Blaming Republicans while Republicans don't even run your communities. The Democrats that y'all keep electing are the ones ruining your communities. When what would have become Black History Month was founded, the people that were being celebrated were Republicans, rugged and self-reliant, no excuses. They struggled and got free instead of struggling for the sake of struggling. And for far too long, we've been caught up with this idea that we gotta have some struggle cred. Yeah, man, yeah, I'm down with the struggle, man. I'll bet if Frederick Douglass could see where we are now with all that's available to us, and if anybody today approached him talking about, yeah, Freddie, I'm with you, man. I'm with you in the struggle, dude. Douglass will probably punch us in the throat. He'd probably be like, what the hell are you struggling for? Because you punched me in the throat. Boo, you know what I mean. You're not doing me any favors by trying to assume that you're with me in some struggle. I wouldn't want you to experience what I was subject to. You're a free man, And it's an insult to me that instead of embracing your freedom and doing amazing things with your God-given talents to be of good service, you would rather believe that you're doing something noble by struggling around in a circle. Look at me, I'm struggling. Aren't you proud of me? I'm struggling. Yeah, we all gotta struggle. But I'll be proud of you when you break free from your struggle. But I'm not impressed with someone who just struggles with chains that have been unlocked for about 150 years now. Now, don't get me wrong. Even with slavery over, there still remain factors trying to keep American blacks down. But that didn't stop people like the Tuskegee Airmen without affirmative action. Now, I don't want to sit here and talk about the discontent of American blacks, but American blacks are upset. They're upset about education, jobs, having to raise kids as a single parent, incarcerations, yet they keep voting for the same Democrat representatives who keep them believing that they're gonna do something special for you. So y'all just keep hating those Republicans who want you to disappear and all your wishes will come true. Meanwhile, the ones helping American blacks disappear are Democrats who make sure abortion clinics are very available to them for a real disappearing act. Black History Month is an interesting choice of words because considering the pro-abortion agenda of the Democrat Party that most of the black community is loyal to, we'll be history all right. I'm Alfonso Rachel with ZoNation, and don't I get a postage stamp in my honor or something? 'Cause you punched me in the throat.